Empires do not fall because they are invaded. They fall when the cost of maintaining their own currency becomes greater than the value of their production. History is full of powerful nations that believed their money was untouchable, until one day it wasn't. The Roman Denarius, the Dutch guilder, the British pound, each of them was once the center of global trade. Each of them was once considered invincible, and every single one collapsed the same way, not with a dramatic bang, but with a slow, silent loss of trust. Today, the world believes the US dollar is different, stronger, safer, permanent, but history has a warning. Reserve currencies never die from foreign enemies, they die from their own creators. Here is the belief most people hold. The US dollar cannot fail because it is backed by the strongest military and the largest economy on earth. That is the common story. But financial history tells a very different one. Every global reserve currency collapsed not because it was attacked from outside, but because it was weakened from within. Not by invasion, but by debt, by overprinting, by overconfidence. And the uncomfortable truth is this: we are repeating the exact same monetary patterns that ended past empires right now, in real time. Most people imagine currency collapse like a disaster movie. Banks shut down overnight, hyperinflation explodes, people panic in the streets, but that is not how dominant currencies end. Real reserve currencies die quietly, slowly, almost politely. First, leaders print more money than the economy produces. Then debts grow faster than income. Then trust begins to fade. At first, nothing looks wrong. Markets still function, people still get paid, life continues. Until one day the world realizes the currency is no longer backed by real production. It is backed only by promises, and promises are fragile. Let's go back in time. In the 1600s, the Dutch guilder ruled global trade. The Netherlands controlled shipping, finance, and commerce. Their currency was trusted everywhere. But wars became expensive. Debts piled up, money printing increased. Slowly confidence faded, and the guilder quietly lost its throne. Then came the British pound. For more than a century, it was the world's reserve currency. The British Empire looked unstoppable. But 2 world wars drained its resources. Debt replaced production. Printing replaced discipline. By 1944, the pound was no longer dominant. Not because Britain was invaded, but because its currency was exhausted. Now the US dollar sits in the same position, and it is following the same path. Different century, same story. After World War II, the dollar became the center of the world. Global trade was priced in dollars. Oil was sold in dollars. Nations stored their savings in dollars. America produced more than anyone else, so the system worked. For decades, the dollar was backed by real economic strength, but over time something changed. Manufacturing moved overseas, spending increased, debt grew faster than production. The privilege of being the world's reserve currency allowed America to borrow endlessly, and like every empire before it, that privilege slowly became a weakness. A reserve currency does not collapse in one step, it dies in stages. Stage 1. The country begins spending more than it produces. Stage 2. Debt grows faster than the real economy. Stage 3. Money printing becomes normal policy. Stage 4. Inflation quietly hides the problem. Stage 5. Other nations begin to lose trust. Stage 6. The world slowly searches for alternatives. None of these stages look dramatic. Each one feels manageable, but together they create a powerful force. A force that no currency in history has ever escaped. The modern warning signs. Look around today. The United States holds record levels of national debt. Trillions are added every year. Budget deficits have become permanent. Interest payments on that debt are now one of the largest government expenses. At the same time, more dollars are printed than ever before. Inflation appears again and again. Countries explore trading without the dollar. Central banks buy gold instead of US bonds. None of these alone destroy a currency, but together, they paint a familiar picture. A picture history has painted many times before. The danger is not a sudden collapse. The danger is a slow loss of privilege. When the world no longer needs the dollar is no longer powerful. Here's what most people misunderstand. The dollar will not die in a single dramatic day. There will be no global announcement, no final moment on the news. Instead, it will fade gradually. Fewer countries will hold it as reserves. More trade will happen in other currencies. Confidence will weaken year by year. Life will continue, until one day the world quietly accepts a new system. That is how every reserve currency ends, not with chaos, but with replacement. When a dominant currency declines, the world doesn't stop. It simply a new system emerges, new alliances form, new trade networks develop, new forms of money take center stage. The end of one currency is not the end of the world, but it is the end of an era, and every end of an era brings uncertainty. The question is not whether change is coming. The question is how prepared people will be when it arrives. Every empire believes it is the exception. Every generation thinks this time is different, until it isn't. The dollar will not die in an explosion. It will fade the way all great currencies fade. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. The real risk is not noticing the moment, until it has already passed. History does not repeat perfectly, but it rhymes. And right now the rhyme is getting louder.